Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people you do business with. And we're well into our 15 Days of Medicare series from October 1st to the 15th, leading into annual enrollment. Debbie Stroup has been fantastic with every tip, bringing a unique perspective and maybe getting you to think about things you hadn't thought about before. And if you've missed any of these, go to the Business and Personal Podcast feed. We're listed in all the podcast networks, so you can get kind of up to speed on this. But I really like this next topic, Debbie, because fortunately, a lot of people age 65 and older are working, and they probably have a healthcare plan through their employer. So what is your advice for people that are still working, and should they do Medicare? Should they stick with their employer plan?
So there's lots of myths and theories and hearsays out there. And it comes down to many different things. So there's not just a generic statement that I can say, if I'm 66 and I'm still working, do I need to apply for Medicare? It's really important that you work with a Medicare specialist because there are things to consider. One is the size of your company. Medicare has very strict rules, guidelines, and regulations in place for if you need to accept Medicare based on the size of your company. Who would have known that? Nobody. So it's very, very specific on that. And if you don't follow that, then you can be penalized. So let's say you want to keep working and you are with a very large company. Do I still need to get Medicare? Depends. So it's not just a clear-cut answer. So when I work with folks on this, we take a deep dive to see which plan is better. If I go on Medicare and keep working, or I stay with the employer insurance and keep working, which one is going to give you better coverage at the lowest possible price? And it's kind of a 50-50 split. Some people keep working and keep their health insurance through their employer. Some people keep working and get Medicare because it's a far better deal for them. So there's not really a clear-cut answer. But I hear a lot of times people say, well, what about penalty? I heard I'm going to get a penalty. If you're doing it correctly, there will be no penalty. If you're not doing it correctly, there will be a penalty. So it's important to not just willy-nilly guess this or base it on what somebody tells you. It's important that you work with a Medicare specialist to find out about your particular situation, to see what you need to do and what is best to do. Because if you get penalized, it's a lifetime penalty that never goes away. So you don't want that. And for folks that are still working that don't accept Medicare, it's a simple form that we can fill out to show Medicare, to show actual Social Security. Hey, I had credible insurance. You don't need to penalize me. They take a look at that form and they say, yep, you had credible insurance through your employer. You had more than X number of employees at your company, full-time equivalent. We will not assess you a penalty. But again, super important that you work with somebody who understands all the rules and regulations to make sure that you don't get caught in that net of lifetime penalty.
Boy, I think there's one thing that's clear as we get to topic number 10 here at this point is what's clear is Medicare is confusing and it's so different for everybody. Every situation is so unique. Once again, hammering home the importance of talking to you, Debbie, and getting your expertise and making sure every single part of their plan is just right for them. And as we've said, if let's say this is election day, you're just coming back from the voting booths and you happen to come across this and you've already signed on to your Medicare plan, it is not too late. Or let's just say you've stuck with your employer plan and Medicare maybe was better for you and you still have time. Reach out to Debbie, no fee for her services to just make sure you're in the right place for you. So tip number 10, if you're still working, we don't have a clear answer for you. It could go either way. Talk to Debbie. Debbie, thanks so much. We look forward to bringing out number 11 next.
My pleasure.
To schedule your free Medicare consultation with Debbie Stroup, go to MichiganMedicareSpecialist.com or call 248-227-0347. That's MichiganMedicareSpecialist.com, 248-227-0347.